One of the hot topics in the international world are definitely golden visas. These are some of the things that you often hear about, but may not be aware of all the requirements and all the golden visas that exist. And after all, what are golden visas anyways? So if you're somebody who's interested in finding out what the golden visa is, what type of golden visas exist, and what type of golden visas are going to be available to you in 2024, then subscribe to our channel, like this video, and follow us for more tips. My name is Yelena, and for the past 5 years, I've been working with 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs, helping them go where they're treated best, legally reduce their taxes, invest overseas, and obtain different citizenships and residencies. Now, starting from scratch, what is actually a golden visa? Golden visa name is specific for European countries, although you will hear it in many other countries like UAE or Taiwan or Cayman Islands. However, it's kind of wrongly used. Those are more investment residencies, while golden visas are generally specific to Europe. And the golden part here is that you actually get a residence permit in Europe and not some random island or random country. A golden visa is basically a residence by investment, where you invest in a certain asset in the country, whether that be a business, whether that be a property, startup companies, or something like that, depending on the requirements of the golden visa. And in return, you get a temporary or a permanent residence that will allow you to live and work in Europe, or actually in that country, and will help you bring your family to that country as well. And it can lead you to a passport if you commit to spending some time there. Now, the good part about golden visas is that they often don't require any minimum physical presence to maintain them, or very little physical presence. However, for citizenship purposes, if that's what you're aiming towards, you will actually have to spend time. And we're going to go deeper into that for each and every country in Europe a bit later in the video. Now, some of the advantages that you can get with the golden visa is that obviously you're getting new opportunities for yourself and your family. You will be able to basically establish your plan B in case you ever need it. And most importantly, for some people, like US citizens, it can be a very good plan B option that can lead them to a passport and can allow them to renounce and legally reduce their taxes. Now, most of the countries that we're going to be talking about, some of the benefits of the golden visas there are that they're rather fast. So you can do them in a couple of months. A very big exception is Portugal because of everything that's been going on with that golden visa, which we will get into a bit later in the video. However, besides being fast, they're also straightforward. They're also accessible options. It's very simple in a way where you invest a certain amount of money in a certain asset and you get a residence permit in return. Obviously, you need to keep that investment in order to keep the residence. And if you're getting a temporary residence, you can go towards a permanent residence and you can go towards a citizenship. Now, the bad side is that there is a physical presence requirement for the citizenship. Even sometimes in some countries for permanent residence, you have to reside a certain number of days in order to qualify. Obviously, you have to make an investment, which start approximately for 250,000 euros, depending on what you want to invest in. Now, this investment, as I mentioned, has to be maintained all the time. So it's basically locked as long as you want to have the residence. And if you decide to live there, most of these European countries have high taxes and worldwide tax systems. Now, while you can navigate sometimes through those systems, generally these are high tax countries. One of the most popular ones that came into light more due to Portuguese slowness and their kind of bureaucracy when it comes to their golden visa is Greece. Greece has multiple options in order to get the golden visa. And the good thing is that whatever option you choose, you will get permanent residence immediately and the right to live and reside in Greece. And there will be no minimum physical presence to maintain the residence. You can choose to invest in properties, and that minimum amount can range anywhere from 250,000 euros to 500,000 euros, depending on which area you decide to invest in. Previously, earlier this year, every area was 250,000 euros. However, popular areas like Athens or Santorini became more expensive, and now the minimum there is 500,000 euros. You can choose to invest in one property. You can choose to invest in multiple properties. Outside of that, you can choose to put a bank deposit or invest in government bonds, which are not our favorite options. So here, the most straightforward option, the best option would be real estate. Once you get it, you can go towards a passport. However, it will take 7 years and you will have to live there. Luckily, they have also a flat tax regime, which can make it easier for you and help you tax optimize, where you pay only 100,000 euros in flat tax. And if this is a regime that you're interested in, watch one of our other videos where we talk more about that. However, the difficulty with Greece is that there is a mandatory military service for males up to 45 years of age. So if you are younger than 45 or you have kids and you want to get a Greek passport, this is something to keep in mind. One of the best options regarding Greece is that this process of obtaining a golden visa can be very quick if you work with the right people. After you collect the documents, after submitting it, generally the government will take anywhere from a month or 2 months to approve you. So it's one of the fastest golden visas that you can obtain. Second option you can look into is Italy. And this visa is also called a Dolce Vita visa or the golden visa in Italy. This one has multiple options. However, the cheapest one is investing 250,000 euros in a startup company in Italy. Now, this Italian golden visa does not have a real estate option as of now. There have been discussions that they might introduce it. However, as of now, that is not available. This is why Italy is often overlooked because people would much rather invest in a property. However, when you look at other opportunities, definitely the one in a startup business makes the most sense and is the cheapest one. The other one that you can invest is $500,000 in any company. Then you can donate €1 million and get a golden visa. Or you can also invest in government bonds, which requires €2 million. So as you can see, Italy doesn't have the best options. However, it does have one of the cheapest ones for 250,000 euros, which is not bad at all. We've done it a couple of times. It is actually a great opportunity. Now, the downside of Italy is that while you can get to a passport, it will take you 10 years. Now, the good side is that you have the flat tax regime. Again, you're paying 100,000 flat tax and living there full time, and everything else is tax exempt. However, it will take you 10 years. You will have to learn their history, their language in order to get the passport. Now, the best part about Italy Golden Visa is that their government has announced that any application that is submitted, they will review it and approve it or deny it in 30 days. So while it may take you a while to collect all the documents that are needed for this process, the approval period is very, very short compared to some other countries. In addition to that, you will have to renew your residence after 2 years, and then after 3 years, you can apply for permanent residence. So 5 years in total, it will take you to get to a permanent residence, and at that point, you will have no language requirements, nothing in order to get the permanent residence. One of the golden visas that exists, but is often overlooked and people don't go for it very often, is Latvia. Latvia has many different options, and the amount you need to invest starts from 50,000 euros and goes up to 280,000 euros. However, what is often overlooked, there are some, I wouldn't say hidden fees, but there are some additional fees that you have to pay to the government besides the investment on its own. If you want to invest in government bonds, it will be a minimum of 250,000 euros investment plus 38,000 euros in government fees. Next up, you have starting a company or investing in a company where you will have to put in 50,000 euros. So this is the lowest that you can go. However, in addition to that, you will have a 10,000 euros state fees, and you will have to have a minimum turnover of a certain amount. So this can be quite a hassle. Lastly, you have the bank deposit option, which requires you to put in 280,000 euros in a Latvian bank account and keep it there for a number of years. And on top of that, you have the 38,000 euros in government fees. So as you can see, while it is kind of advertised as one of the cheapest ones, there are kind of some hurdles to jump through, and there are some state fees that maybe not everybody will be upfront about. However, they do exist. Now, citizenship is possible after 10 years. However, you would have to live there for 183 days per year, every year for 10 years in order to be eligible for a passport. So in those terms, it might not also be the best option. However, as a second backup residence, it can be an interesting option. Now, one of the downsides of Latvia is that in order to get a permanent residence, you will actually have to spend time in Latvia. However, if you just want to stay on a temporary residence that you get with the golden visa, there is no minimum physical presence requirement. So as you can see, it is one of the often overlooked countries, but depending on what you're looking for, this might be a perfect option for you, or some others might be better suited. On to one of the most popular ones is definitely Spain. Now, Spain has different options, but what is most attractive to people is investing €500,000 in a property or properties in Spain. Now, this is an option that the Spanish government has discussed that they might cancel. However, as of now, they did not. So this option is still available to people. Besides that, you can opt to buy shares or deposit the money in a Spanish bank account. In that case, you would have to do €1 million, or you can invest in Spanish public debt, but that you have to invest €2 million. So as you can see, the cheapest one, the best one is a property. You make an investment, whether you want to live there or you want to rent it out, it can be a good option. Now with this golden visa in Spain, you get a temporary residence. After 5 years, you can get a permanent residence. However, physical presence is required. If you just want to stay in the temporary residence, then it's going to be perfectly fine for you not to spend a lot of time in Spain, just have it as a backup option. But if you want a permanent residence or citizenship in 10 years, you will actually have to live in Spain. One additional kind of situation with citizenship is that generally Spain does not allow dual citizenship unless in certain situations and certain nationalities, like countries that were once a Spanish colony or have something to do with Spain, which are mostly like Latin American countries. However, if you are US or you are Australian or anything like that, you will actually have to renounce your citizenship in order to get the Spanish one. The processing time can be rather quick. After you submitted the documents, after you purchased the property and submitted the documents and the application itself, it will take them around a month or 2 months to approve your application. So Spain can be a very interesting option as a backup residence, but if you're looking for a passport, it might not be the best and ideal place for you. Now we have the most famous golden visas of them all, the most popular one, which is Portugal. Now, Portugal has seen a lot of changes and a lot of backlog in the past year or two, where even now it's one of the most popular golden visas, but it can take a very long period of time in order to get approved for the golden visas. There were people who were waiting for 2 years to get approved. So if you're looking for something that's quick, that's not going to be an option for you. As you know, Portugal did exclude a real estate option from the golden visa list. And now the best option is to invest €500,000 in a venture fund, in our opinion, although there are other options. You can basically start a company, employ 10 people, get a golden visa that way. You can donate €200,000, basically transfer €250,000 to a cultural heritage or some project or similar, which is essentially a donation. Or you can also transfer €500,000 in an existing company or a new company or some other projects like scientific research or similar. So there are many options, but the one that will bring you the most ROI and the one that's the best, in our opinion, are the funds that are still available in Portugal. Now, one of the best things about Portugal Golden Visa and why this is such a popular option is because citizenship is available after 5 years of residency, and you only have to be there for 14 days in 2 years. So a week per year, basically, in order to qualify. Obviously, while Portugal doesn't have a strict physical presence requirement for citizenship, it does have a requirement that you show that you have connection to Portugal, that you have a very strong foothold there. So any personal ties that you can create in Portugal are going to be very important for your citizenship case. Even though this is officially a situation, because of all the backlog in approving golden visa applications and backlog in applying for citizenship, applying for the citizenship could take anywhere from 8 to 10 years, which makes it kind of the same as, let's say, Italy. You have to have that in mind when you are choosing the right golden visa. Now, these are not the only golden visas that exist in Europe. There are many others like Cyprus, Malta, Bulgaria, Luxembourg. So there are many others, but these are some of the most popular ones, some of the ones that can bring you the most benefit. But essentially, which golden visa will be the right for you will depend on what are your goals, long-term, short-term goals, what is the level of money that you want to invest, and what is the level of comfort when it comes to investing from your end. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that these golden visas are not forever as well. They're either changing or they're closing down. This year, we saw the Dutch and the Irish golden visas shut down. There are still not alternatives for those options. It is important to keep in mind that these programs can either change, and they will not change for better, or they can shut down. So if you're thinking about a golden visa, it is better to start sooner rather than later. Another thing that might be interesting is that Hungary said recently that they will open a golden visa starting January 1st, 2024, and the minimum requirement will be €250,000 invested in a business or a property. As you can see, some options are closing down, some are opening up, some are changing. What is certain is that something will always be happening, so while options are there, while they're available to you, it is better to grab them as they are. If you're interested in finding out what are the best banks or best residencies and what are the things that you should be looking out in 2024, like this video and subscribe to our channel in order to find out more.